All right, what's going on, fellas? Welcome to today's school live stream for the premium school community. Today, we're talking about something everyone wants to know, and that is how do we overcome approach anxiety during cold approach, right? And look, I know there's a lot of different pieces of advice out there, okay? And I think sometimes we get a little bit inundated with all the different openers, all the different lines, all the different places we can approach, times to approach. Is it day game? Is it night game? We're not going to get super into the weeds here, okay? Because I already have a bunch of courses in the school community that deep dive into this stuff. But what we are going to do is just a high level overview. I'm going to give you kind of like a quick guide here. And what I want is for these to be just simple reminders for yourself that you can reference to either before going out. You know, maybe you need to read this once in a while, or, you know, at the start of the weekend, just to get your head in the right mind space. And just a reminder, like if you're watching this, I started out as like the nice guy that was terrified of talking to women. And these are all things that I used for me that worked really well, and things that I've been recommending to clients of mine for some time that I talk about in the courses that guys have found great results with. Okay. We're going to go through a couple different things. We're going to talk about internal stuff. We're going to talk about actual practical things you can do in real time to calm yourself down to get your head in the right mind space. Okay. This stream isn't going to be as long as some of the other ones I've done. Hopefully it'll be rather quick. Going to get you the information. You can get in, get out. And also look, if you're watching this as a recording, okay, and you didn't tune in live, if you're watching this in the recording section of the school community, I'm going to post this guide in the notes there as well. So you can come back and reference this anytime. All right, cool. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. And hey, listen, if you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments. I'll throw them on the screen and I'll get to them kind of after I run through the presentation here as well. So here's my screen. We're talking about overcoming, approach anxiety during cold approach. So few things that I want you to shift mentally if you're dealing with approach anxiety. Okay. First of all, remind yourself, like, I'm not a coward, man. Like, I used to have to tell myself this, and it sounds kind of silly, but like, you know, we think about like what a human being is actually capable of, in a situation that requires you to be brave, in a situation that requires like life or death scenario, like human beings are capable of amazing things. You sometimes just need to remind yourself that like, you're not a coward. I'm not a bitch. I got this. Right. And also start adopting a mentality of like, I embrace the challenge. I enjoy a challenge. I like going out there and doing difficult things. And not just that, but I don't quit when things get hard, right? So I'm not a coward. I embrace the challenge. I don't quit when things get hard. And finally, I have value to contribute. You just need to know these things about yourself before you even start going to cold approach, right? Like we're going to talk about openers. We're going to talk about little practical things you can do during cold approach, but just like, let's start with a mindset shift here, fellas. Okay. If you don't believe in your ability to embrace the challenge, if you don't believe that you can do things that are hard, if you don't believe that you can stick to something and not quit when it gets difficult, if you don't believe you have value to contribute as a person, then you're always going to deal with a certain level of approach anxiety. So start with these mental shifts, okay? The next thing we need to do is change your standards, okay? This one is huge right here, and I think a lot of guys struggle with this. In the live stream last week, we were talking about flirting, and then, during the Q&A, cold approach came up and approach anxiety. This is huge, guys. A woman being attractive does not make her better than me, right? Because attractive women still need to contribute value and they still need to possess other qualities that I enjoy. So if your only qualification, if your only standard for a woman is that she's attractive, you're always going to have approach anxiety because you're going to see attractive women and then you're immediately going to believe internally that they are better than you are. And if you believe that, you are fucked, okay? This woman is a stranger. You don't know her. You don't know anything about her. You don't know what her qualities are. And if you don't have standards beyond her physical appearance, you're fucked, okay? This is something that I would say out of this whole presentation, this one right here has to be one of the main things you walk away with. A woman being attractive does not make her better than me. A woman being attractive doesn't make her better than you. She has to possess value and bring value and possess qualities that you enjoy. Like one of the things I was talking about last week was like certain things that will immediately turn me off from an attractive woman. If she has like a spoiled rich girl attitude, if she seems like stuck up, conceited, if she's not humble, like one thing that drives me crazy, and I know women like this, like from LA and even from where I grew up in Colorado, that they act like they might have these really nice things or this nice bag or this nice car or, access to daddy's credit card. And, they act like it's not even a big deal. And they act like they're just better than everybody else. Like that kind of shit immediately turns me off. Like it doesn't matter to me if a woman's attractive. If she has that kind of attitude, I'm out, bro. Like I have no interest, right? So you have to ask yourself, like, what are my standards for women beyond just being attractive? If you don't have standards, you're automatically going to place women above you. You're going to place yourself below them, and you're going to continue to really struggle with approach anxiety, okay? Moving on to the next thing here about changing mindset, going into this, okay? Like as we go into talking about having conversations, okay? First of all, I'm not performing to earn her approval, okay? If you go in with a performative mindset, she's going to see that you are in an approval-seeking mode and energy instead of a masculine energy. And when you are performing, what you're doing is you're asking her to make a judgment based on you and your performance to decide whether or not she finds you attractive back, okay? The secondary part of that is like, you need to remember we are engaging as equals. I'm getting to know her too. So these are all things you need to be reminding yourself if you struggle with approach anxiety, okay? She's not better than you just because she's attractive. You're not going in to perform and earn her approval. You're going to engage as equals and get to know each other, right? Like this is another mindset tip here along the same lines is like, remind yourself that like, I'm interested in this girl because she is attractive, but I'm not sold. Like I'm not already bought in on this girl just because she's attractive. Like I'm going in and this is a two-way street of discovery, okay? Again, these are important shifts you need to make internally that will help reduce your approach anxiety, all right? Another thing here, remember, this is supposed to be fun and enjoyable, not stressful. And I've said this in other streams before, but having a good wingman or a good group of wingmen helps a lot with this. Like I remember back in the day when I was doing a lot of cold approach, I would have my buddy Dax with me, and having a wingman definitely makes it more fun and enjoyable and less stressful. Even if you get rejected, even if the women are cold as fucking rude, like we would go and approach girls and they would just immediately like be harsh, shut us down, like before we even said 2 words. And I'd be able to walk away and laugh and like dap up my buddy and be like, man, fuck those girls. Like, whatever, who cares? Like we could get a laugh about it, have a laugh about it, instead of making it so stressful and like, you're trying to white knuckle it and you're all tense. Like, boys, you should be again, embrace the challenge, enjoy the challenge, enjoy the whole journey, man. Make it fun, make it enjoyable, right? The next thing, I'm not afraid of being playful. That's how flirting works. Okay. Like, I think a lot of guys, when women start out, maybe immediately they're apprehensive or kind of cold or showing indicators of disinterest, they retreat. Okay. They just immediately retreat to polite, informational conversation. They're afraid to offend the woman. They're afraid to say anything bold or assertive or a little risky. And so they just suck the playful energy out of the whole interaction because they are intimidated, because they did believe this woman was better than them just because she's attractive, because they didn't come in, trying to engage as equals, because they didn't think of it as a two-way street of discovery. They came in with a performative mindset. And by doing that, if you're the one performing, well, now you're afraid of offending and you suck the playful energy right out of the interaction, right? You're afraid to offend her. So remind yourself, like, I'm not afraid of being playful. This is how flirting works, okay? The next thing, I'm going to be fun and positive even if she's cold. Like, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck if the girl is cold, man? Like, this is nobody to you. You just met this girl, right? And we're going to talk more about how you could separate yourself from, potential rejection. But dude, you need to be proactive about staying fun and positive no matter how the girl is reacting, okay? Because rejection is not personal, okay? You don't need to internalize it. You don't need to make it personal. You don't need to give that power to strangers, right? You should be comfortable with who you are, know your value, right? Like all the other things I talk about in Foundations and the Dating Fundamentals course, like these things that we do to build up our internal self-worth. Like in the stream 2 weeks ago, we talked about unshakable self-image, right? Like the reason I put all of those before this presentation is because these are all things that you should have established within yourself before you're going out and trying to talk to a bunch of girls, right? Rejection is not personal. This girl doesn't know you, especially if it's like just an immediate, like before you even say 5 words and she's like, fuck off. Like, dude, don't take that personally. Who cares? And, to piggyback on that, I want to remind you guys, like oftentimes it's not that she rejected me. It's that maybe she just didn't like how I approached. Maybe the timing was off. Maybe there's another guy that she's waiting to meet tonight. Maybe there's a dude that she was dating that just like blew her off tonight that she was supposed to meet up with. Like I never took a rejection as like a personal rejection of me. Okay. I always assumed that either I could have done something a little better in the way that I approached. Maybe it was the angle of which I approached. Maybe it was the opener I used. Maybe it was that I was, again, being too informational, boring, and logical instead of playful, fun, and flirtatious. But you can't internalize these rejections, guys. There's a million different variables that could be going on. And like, if you talk to girls, like if you have women that are friends, like oftentimes they'll be in this little pocket of girls. And even if a guy walks up that they think is cute and attractive, if they're not in that energy, sometimes they'll just be cold and tell them to piss off. And like, why would you take that personally? Why would you make that about you? It's not always about you. Honestly, I think a lot of you guys are giving yourselves too much credit. Like girls sometimes are just harsh. Sometimes they're just cold. And so if you're struggling with approach anxiety because you're scared of that rejection, remember, rejection is not personal. We don't give that power to strangers because we've already assessed, we've already built up our unshakable image, self-image. We've already built up our self-worth, our value. We know who we are. So we don't assign that kind of power to strangers that we just met, right? Especially people that they don't know anything about us. We don't know anything about them, okay? The next thing here is that we are proactive, not reactive, and we don't adjust our energy to other people. We elevate the energy of other people by bringing that big positive energy, okay? So I talked about this a few weeks ago as well, just a reminder here, but like proactive people are rare. Most people are reactive. They are reacting to what's going on around them, to the external world, okay? They are not proactively determining, what is my energy going to be? Am I going to be fun? Am I going to be positive? I'm going to be loose? I'm going to be relaxed, right? No, what most people are doing is they are reacting. So if they're around someone that's cold, if they go to a girl that's negative, if they're around a girl that's kind of harsh, right? They're absorbing that energy and internalizing it, making it personal, and they're reacting to that in the moment, right? Like I would almost imagine like you have this like energy barrier around you, and you're like, no one gets to penetrate this unless I give them permission. Okay. And look, I know some of this stuff sounds silly, fellas, but this is all like how I conceptualize this stuff when I was dealing with approach anxiety that worked for me and has worked for other men. So, don't knock it if you haven't tried it. Like going through these mental exercises of, assessing and asking yourself, am I a proactive person or am I a reactive person? Do I typically let the outside world and external things happening affect how I feel and the energy that I bring? Am I adjusting in real time to try and match the energy of the woman? Or am I already on my own energy? Am I on my own frequency, right? Because that's what women gravitate to, guys. Women gravitate to that positive, fun, loose, relaxed, confident energy. And it's impossible to sustain that internally if you are a reactive person. You have to be proactive about that, right? And then also remember, she's not a prize, okay? This isn't some prize to be won. This is just another person, right? And everyone's got their own shit. Everyone's got their own lives going on. Just like bring her down a few notches. Bring all women down a few notches. It goes back to what I said in the beginning, right? Like she's not better than you just because she's attractive. You have to remember that. But also, she's just a regular person, dude. Just like we all are, okay? We're all just human beings living in a broken world. We're broken people. We're just trying to figure it out. So, don't give her so much of a pedestal. Don't make her a prize. She is just a person just like you, all right? Moving on to the next thing here. Talking about changing your vibe. And apologize, I do have like a sinus infection going on, so I'm a little stuffy, I'm a little raspy, so bear with me. Okay, changing the vibe. All right, just kind of talked about this. Make sure we're bringing warm, positive energy. Now, the key word here is warm. I think a lot of guys have this this idea that like women are attracted to jerks, they're attracted to bad boys, yada yada. And like I do think there's a certain avatar, right? Like a certain type of woman that is attracted to the guys that like act like they don't really give a fuck. And the reason for that is I think those are insecure women that are always looking for external validation. So when they run into a guy that doesn't really act like he cares about them, well, then they want to chase that man, right? But these aren't the type of women that I coach my clients on to attract. And take it from me as someone who went from like insecure nice guy, people pleaser, approval seeking energy, and I swung the pendulum way too far to like the jerk extreme. And I can tell you, I got more women when I was going with the jerk persona, but the most attractive women I ever got with was when I had like a more centered, balanced approach, right? So you still need to be capable of having like a playful, mischievous persona, bold attitude, maybe a little spontaneous, unpredictable at times, impulsive in a fun way, not a dangerous way, right? We want to have all of those fun qualities that women are attracted to, but we still want to be warm, fellas, right? Because nothing is going to get a woman more attracted to you and loose and relaxed in your presence is if she feels like behind the mischievous, playful, kind of troublemaker attitude, there's this warmth, this sincerity that she can trust and relax around, okay? Now, also remember, I'm offering a fun moment. I'm not trying to impress her, okay? So we're going in, we're trying to create a fun experience together, right? But I have to emphasize, we're not trying to impress. Next, I'm content with who I am. This interaction doesn't define me. Kind of like what I was just talking about a moment ago. But like when we're talking about adjusting vibe, we have to remind ourselves, I am content with who I am. This interaction does not define me. Like I'm good. If she's into it, cool. If she's not into it, cool. We're going to keep it moving either way. All right, let's see here. Steven, man, you're always tuning in, bro. I appreciate you. Let's see. Solid self-esteem is key for a successful cold approach, even if your opener is clumsy. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. In my dating fundamentals course, one of the things I talk about is, being able to, like having the level of confidence to where even if you have a screw up, even if you stumble on your words, if you're on a date and you like drop a fork on the floor and it makes a loud clang, like being able to flip that confidently and show that like you're not actually embarrassed, right? Like the one example I use is like if you drop a fork on the ground, it makes a loud clang and like you can kind of laugh and go to pick it up and be like, this is your fault. Like, I think you're making me nervous, right? And just like kind of shit-eating grin, like obviously you're being sarcastic, but you have to have that high self-esteem where like, who cares? Like, I'm not embarrassed. We're good. Keep it moving, right? Now, a couple practical tips, like real-time things we can do to warm ourselves up for cold approach to reduce approach anxiety. Okay. Number one is warm up, right? So this is real basic stuff, guys. Start conversations with 5 strangers before you go and start talking to women, and just give them compliments, just to like put out a good positive vibe, just to receive some positive energy back, right? Like even if it's a dude, just walking by and being like, yo, bro, love those shoes. What are those? Where'd you get those? Hell yeah, I got to check those out. Hell yeah, man, have a great day. Just little stuff like that, right? It could be talking to the cashiers you're checking out at the store when you're buying a shirt before a date, or if you get to the bar early and you're having a quick cocktail, like, hey, what's your name? Hey, you got a great smile. Thanks again for the drink. Like, have a good night, right? Just little stuff like that. That is, you're not trying to like start a long conversation. You're just putting out some good energy. You're talking, you're loosening yourself up, and people appreciate the compliment. They're going to respond with warm energy, and that kind of thing is going to relax you. So I highly recommend starting out with a few warm-up conversations with strangers. Deliver a genuine compliment just to put out some good vibes and receive some good vibes back. That'll always loosen you up and help reduce that approach anxiety. The next big thing here for in the moment, reducing approach anxiety is timing. Never wait more than 3 seconds. Okay. The longer you wait, the more the anxiety builds. And I think a lot of us know this inherently. In fact, I have one of my one-on-one clients was just telling me a few weeks ago, like he was trying to do the 3-second thing and he was still struggling. So like another thing you could tack on to this, if you're trying to do like a countdown in your head, right? Like say you see a girl and you're like, all right, 3, 2, 1, I'm going to approach. And then you still freeze. Well, what you could do is like remind yourself of why you're here, of why you need to approach, of the fact that your life is short and temporary and that regret is worse than rejection. Like, go through the mental exercise. Maybe you have to remind yourselves of the things that I said earlier, right? I'm not a coward. I enjoy the challenge. She's not better than me just because she's attractive, right? Like pick one thing to remind yourself. So just like if you're getting that nervous feeling and you see a girl that you want to attract, just say it to yourself, like internally, like, yo, that girl's not better than me just because she's attractive. 3, 2, 1, go. Like practice, see what works for you. But the biggest thing is we don't want to wait more than 3 seconds. There's a few reasons why. Okay. A, you're going to overthink. You're going to let that nervous energy start to build up. And then by the time you do talk yourself into going and approaching, well, now you're so wound up internally that the energy you put out during the approach is just going to be a complete mess. She's not going to feel relaxed around you. You're going to seem insecure and uncomfortable, which makes the girl feel uncomfortable in your presence, right? So we don't want to wait longer than 3 seconds. And also, like if a girl can tell that you're thinking about approaching her and you're sitting there and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and she can see you looking over and thinking about it, and then you finally come, well, now she's already kind of picked up on your hesitation and she's just going to want to reject you right away because she saw that you didn't have the confidence to just come and talk when you wanted to talk, right? So timing, we never want to wait more than 3 seconds. Next thing is having mental focus. So I was talking to one of the guys in the premium school community about this last week. We were talking about flirting. And one of the big things is like staying present. Okay. Because I talk about detaching from the outcome. So a lot of guys are all obsessed on when they're going to start cold approach, like, oh, I have to go and get this number, or like, I really need her to like me or whatever. And I'm like, whoa, we got to back up. Like, let's just stay present and listen to the words she's saying. Focus on the words you're saying. Don't focus on the outcome. Be present in the conversation. Be an active listener. That will help you stop thinking about where this is going. Is she liking me? Am I going to get a number? Am I going to ask her out on a date? Like, don't be thinking about any of that. Just go in with the sole intention of being an active listener and having a solid, enjoyable conversation. Okay. Right here, your only goal, have the most enjoyable, authentic conversation possible. That should be all you're thinking about going into a cold approach. Okay. If you're thinking about the outcome, if you're thinking about the goal, if you're thinking about whether you're going to get a number, if you're already wondering if she's going to like you, like if you're thinking about all of these things in advance of making the approach, then your approach anxiety is going to skyrocket. So just remember, our only goal is to just have an enjoyable, authentic conversation. Okay. Now, pre-approach reset. If you are struggling, okay, just adjust to a confident, relaxed posture. Like this is something they teach in meditation, they teach in yoga, but sometimes we don't realize like how tense we truly are, okay, especially when we're feeling nervous. And I think just mentally checking in with your body, like doing a body check-in, like is my face tense? Are my eyes tense, right? Like are my shoulders tense? Like just take a second and relax, okay? Also, take a few deep breaths, right? Like we know that breath control does a lot to bring down our heart rate, to reduce blood pressure, and to reduce anxiety. Okay. One thing I used to do that helped a lot is literally I would physically grin to myself, and then I would also nod yes. And then I would try to shift to like a warm and ready internal state. So like I would take a deep breath, body check in. Am I relaxed? Smile like, all right, bro. Like, come on, you got this. Let's do it. Like nod in your head, smiling, like just like forcing yourself to like reset into a positive, self-assured, relaxed internal feeling. Okay. Before you do the cold approach, it's going to help reduce your approach anxiety. And then another big thing, because a lot of guys struggle with this, is like I see a girl that I want to talk to and I don't know what to say. Like, so one example is one of my one-on-one clients. He's been going to like a country bar for swing dancing lessons, and he saw this girl there that he wanted to approach, because what they do is they have everyone kind of lining up, practicing by themselves. And then they're like, all right, everyone pair off, and then we're going to practice with a partner. And there was this cute girl there. And I guess like everyone started pairing off, and him and the girl made eye contact, and he knew he wanted to go approach and ask her to be his dance partner, but he kind of froze. And I was like, well, why did you freeze? And he's like, well, I know we worked through all the different stuff about cold approach, but then I just like, I couldn't think of anything to say. Right. And so what I would recommend is having like 2 to 3 canned openers that you know you can just use anytime. And guys, this is simple stuff. It really doesn't need to be complicated, right? Like as simple as this. You don't even need to tell her she's cute. Hey, I saw you over there and I wanted to say hi. What's your name? Or, you know, hey, excuse me, I was this close to walking by, but I just had to say hey, right? That one is always going to play. Or you could simply say, hey, pardon me, don't mean to interrupt. I've seen you in here like a million times. I wanted to come introduce myself. I'm KJ, right? It's literally that simple. If you're in the scenario I was just talking about where the guy is, you know, at a country, you know, dance bar doing dance lessons, and you see a girl there that's cute and you want to go pair off with her, it could be as simple as walking up and being like, hey, like I'm a first timer. I've seen you in here, you know, before, whatever, like, you know, let's practice together, and, you know, don't judge me because I'm still new to this. My moves are definitely in need of some work, right? Like if you know you're going into a dance class where you're going to have to ask a girl to be your partner, have a canned opener, have something ready that you know, okay, when the time comes, this is what I'm going to say. And then also, guys, slow down your speech, okay? Stay calm and collected. So when you do walk up, remind yourself, slow, calm, collected, right? You don't need to go up and be like, hey, like I saw you over here and I was going to see if you want to be my dance partner, right? Like that comes off as crazy, insecure. It's going to be nerve-wracking to the woman. She's going to feel totally uncomfortable. Like it really should just be nice and slow. Like, hey, I saw you over here and I wanted to come say hi. What's your name? Like, do you want to do a dance together? Like, that's it. It doesn't have to be complicated, okay? And also the final thing, remind yourself, approach anxiety. What is it? It's your brain trying to protect you, okay? It's a self-defense mechanism, right? But there's no real threat. See, our brains have been hardwired since, you know, thousands of years ago, especially when we were out in the wild. Like anything that was unknown to man was a potential threat, okay? We all have this fear of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen when you go and say hi to that girl. So your mind, that natural built-in defense mechanism is saying, don't know what's going to happen over there, could result in harm for us. So we're not going to do it. We're going to freak out and we're just going to shut down and we're going to walk away. Okay. But the thing is that there is no real threat, assuming that you're not going up and saying something like overtly sexual or aggressive or, you know, completely inappropriate. There's really no real threat. Not if you're doing the other things that I talked about, right? Not if you have already assessed your own internal value. Not if you've already decided what your self-worth and self-image is all about, okay? If you've already worked on the inner game stuff, then you don't need to, you're not giving this stranger permission to make a judgment on you. You're not assigning your value to whether or not a stranger decides they want to have a conversation with you, right? And that's all these women are. Granted, they might be attractive. Granted, they might be beautiful. They are just a stranger. That is just a person. She is not a prize. You've already decided for yourself who you are, what you're about. You have your self-image buttoned up. And so remember, when you start to feel that approach anxiety, your brain is trying to protect you, okay? But it's not serving you anymore. So you just say, hey, listen, all right, there it is. There's the approach anxiety. Cool. It's there, but it's not real. It's trying to protect me, but there's actually no real harm. There's no real threat that's going to happen to me. So I'm going. Okay. And that's it, fellas. It's as simple as that. Now, like I said, this whole guide here, I'm going to share in the notes. So this live stream is recorded. I'm going to post it in the Premium School community. And then also I'll have the notes from this guide posted in there, just as like a quick reference guide that you can go back to anytime that you need a reminder, right? Like I said, maybe it's, Friday before you're going out for the weekend, or, maybe it's before you and the boys are meeting up on a Saturday to hit the bars and go talk to girls. Whatever it is, it'll be there for you if you need it. Now, we have a couple of you here. Feel free to drop a question in the comments. If you have any questions you want me to address directly, I'll give you a few seconds. And if I don't see anyone dropping any questions in the comments, then I'm going to close it out. But for those of you that are watching, I just want to say in advance, thanks for taking the time. Thanks for being here. And if you watch this recording later, thanks for watching, fellas. Hope you found this helpful. And if you're in the school community and you watch this as a recording, you can also post in the group and ask any questions after the fact as well. Probably hang out for just like one more minute, see if anyone drops a question. And if not, we're going to close it out here. All right. Well, I think that's it, fellas. I appreciate you watching. We're going to wrap it up. And again, this guide will be posted in the notes, so check it out if you're watching this after the fact, or if you need a reference back later. Appreciate you watching. This is KJ Harlow. I'll see you guys in the next stream.